Right, let's get into what's been taking place. I said this last night. The theme of tonight's show is people power, but also staggering hypocrisy of the system and their inhabitants. Now, people are starting to notice, or some are, that their world continues to crumble around them. And as it crumbles, they are resorting to more and more bizarre, insidious and erratic behaviour. But exposure will be the prominent word from here on in. Now, some say nothing's going on. Let's do a small recap of last night's show. So many people were getting pulled in, charged, and you name it. Obviously, Paul Manafort got pulled in. The shredded documents have now been pieced together of the Michael Cohen case. 16 pages pulled together and a further 731 pages from call logs. The investigation into Michael Cohen goes on. All in all, about 3.7 million files were seized in those raids. Mr. Trump imposed tariffs on China and Canada, and they both responded and fired back. And as per usual, the mainstream media is fear-mongering that everyone's going to lose their jobs, forgetting, of course, that we've been losing jobs for the last 30 years as everything sieved across the waters to Asia. Nobody complained then. Anglo-Irish Bank Chief Executive David Drum was sentenced to 6 years for fraud and false accounting. Elizabeth Holmes of the blood testing company Theranos has been indicted on criminal charges for conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 9 other counts of wire fraud, plus false information about the accuracy of their testing devices. They could be her and a partner, Mr. Bulwani, engaging in a multi-million-dollar scheme to defraud investors. So they're out on a $500,000 bond each. Wells Fargo is still going through the mill on top of the $1 billion fine and the $480 million fine. Another fine has been approved of $142 million in a class action settlement. Now, this is to do with phony bank accounts. Angela Merkel could be ousted as the Chancellor in Germany within the next 7 days if she doesn't come up with a plan, and it's not looking too well for Ms. Hitler. General Electric is losing its place on the Dow Jones of the top 500. Sarah and Benjamin Nutty Asshole, as I like to call them, are both up in court on charges of fraud and misuse of public funds. 100,000 of public funds for catering, and also receiving $285,000 in gifts that wasn't disclosed. Also, Mr. Netanyahu was accused of giving special treatment to a publisher of an Israeli newspaper in return that the newspaper would give him favourable coverage. Not going well. Oxfam, people power, have suddenly got a $16 million black hole in their donations following the Haiti scandal. We covered a story about DNA. Every one person born in California since 1983 has had a portion of their DNA stolen and kept in a state-run database. Parents can request that their children's DNA samples be destroyed, but the state is not obligated to honour the request or report if it's been carried out. So that's been going on since the 1983. Afghanistan extended a ceasefire, which is unusual. Another example of the cabal looting funds, this time in South Africa with organised gangs which they control. They control all of them. Since the turn of the year, more than 150 cash-in-transit robberies, equating to more than one a day, has netted numbers of millions of rand. That's how they're keeping temporarily going. Of course, then they set up funds to do with the child migrant crisis. The media post fake pictures of a child crying. That's away from her parents, which is staged and fake. Those people should be arrested who put that out, in my opinion. An appeal was launched for $20 million, which is now up to $19.5 million. Yet again, none of those are going to the kids, and everything to do with Clinton Foundation and other rogue elements. One day the sleepers will really wake up. It just boggles my mind. Russia's been selling off US Treasury bonds. So has China, so has Ireland in the past few months. America pulled out of the United Nations Human Rights Council, describing it as hypocritical and self-serving and makes a mockery of human rights. I tend to agree. We'll have more on the UN in the intel portion. CIA, or ex-CIA, so they say. There is no such thing as former CIA. Yes, you, Mr. Steele. We'll have more on you later as well. Calling Trump or likening Trump's immigration policy to Nazi Germany. Oh boy, the CIA telling others, accusing others of doing things that they've been doing for many, many years. Also, a CIA software engineer has been charged with leaking stolen archives of the spy agency's secrets. A guy by the name of Adam Schultz. As per usual, the FBI agents discovered alleged child porn on his computer. Mr. Schultz faces 13 separate charges, which equates to up to 135 years in prison if found guilty. So the CIA like to spy on everyone, but if someone does it against them, that's not agreeable.